snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Sit back, relax, and maybe.
Hi guys, so I am here today to do a book review, and the book that I'm going to be reviewing is my favourite book of the whole year, and it is another Robin Hobb. So this one is the third one in the Tawny Man series by Robin Hobb. It is the third and final one in that series. It's set in the realm of the Elderlings, like most of her books are, and we once again follow Fitz, who is the main character, and it's called Fool's Fate. This book, guys, this book was always the book that Robin Hobb intended to finish up Fitz and Fool's story on. She never really intended to pick it back up again after this, and I think you can tell that from the way that this story ending is fantastic. Like, every single thread that she has woven into the whole story up to this point is finished off in some way, and it's all done spectacularly. I cried more than 20 times in this book. I was sobbing at points. I do not easily cry at books. Sometimes my tears will sort of well up in my eyes, or sometimes I'll get a little bit emotional, but usually I do not cry full-on sobbing or anything like that. This book I did. I really did, because we have been with this character for 9 books now, and we've been with some of the characters for even more than that, because there are some crossovers between the live ship books and the Farseer and Tawny Man books, so some of the characters we know even better, and it's just exceptional. This book is exceptional in every way. It's perfect, it's amazing. The language that Robin Hobb uses is just evocative, it's emotional, it's heart-wrenching. The way that she develops the plot, there's always something going on, there's always something exciting about to happen, or something that's being teased, or you get these hints of something that could be coming up and you're not sure if it will or won't. There's so many opportunities for you to be able to guess and figure out, is this a thing, is that a thing, is this person coming into the story, is that person going to die? You never really know what's going to happen with Robin Hobb, because everything you think you know, she has a better way of doing it, and she does it to perfection in this book. This book was even better than The Mad Ship, which I already absolutely loved. You guys know I said The Mad Ship was going to be my favourite book of the year. This one's beaten it, and it's another Robin Hobb, so I think that is spectacular. The difference between this one and the live ship books is that this one is not focused on multiple POV. It is only focused on Fitz as the main character, and then we have other characters who really influence his life, like we had Burrich in the first few books, and we have the Fool, who's always there next to him doing crazy things, and we've got other people like Shade, who's kind of in the background and things. So we do get to see lots of other characters who are very interesting, but Fitz is the main one. Whereas in the live ship books we're focusing on a lot of really interesting characters, and they're each individually developed and each of them are interesting in their own way. This one is all about Fitz, and I think this series is a massive step up from the Farseer books. You guys will remember that I said the third one in the Farseers I really did not enjoy. I only gave it 2 stars. I stick by that because I didn't enjoy it at the time, but I can now see why everyone loves Robin Hobb so much, and I am so happy that I continued on with her books even after not liking the third one in Farseers, because Fitz definitely has a massive change of personality in this book. He really comes into himself, he really starts to be a great person, he really starts to understand who he is and sort of face some of the problems that he has been avoiding for a long time. He starts to connect with more of the people that he's travelling with, and we really do start to see him unfold and kind of release himself a little bit from some of the oaths and some of the alliances that he's always kept to and he's always been a part of. I really connected with him so much more in this than I did in the first few books, in the Farseer books, because he's like 35 now and he's a really understanding and he's a really likeable character, and he's also one of those characters who everything that you could imagine possible goes wrong with him, and his life has been bad, it's been horrible, it's been nasty, and he hasn't really had a great shot at life, and so seeing his ending, even though it's not the ending, was just fantastic, and I think Robin Hobb did an exceptional job. I think right from page 1 of this book I already knew that I was in love with it. It was a massive step up from the book before, which I also gave like a 4.5, and so it was a massive step up from that. I knew it was going to be a 5 stars right from the get-go, but it was just so good. Everything about this was done in a way that I couldn't anticipate and I couldn't predict, and it just made me cry my heart out, which is such a sign of a good book, such a sign of being really emotionally connected and involved with these characters that they honestly made me so upset and happy at different times of the novel. So she went there, and she is a genius, and I cannot wait to move on with more of her books. But talking about this book and this trilogy in particular, the Tawny Man ones, some of the characters who I really enjoyed seeing in this one were Thick. I thought Thick was a great character again. I already said in the second book how much I enjoyed his personality, but I think that shines through even more in this book at some points, and he really has to go through a hard time. He doesn't like sailing, and they go on a lot of ships on this one, and they go on a big adventure to try and find a beast and kill it, which is basically the main plot line of this, but so much more happens along the way that you just are connected to every character, you're enjoying their storyline, and you're enjoying the way that they interact with Fitz and what goes on. There's a lot of mysteries that we've had hinted at in both the Farseer books and earlier books in this series, which we do finally get resolved in this book, and we definitely get answers about certain things to do with the Fall, to do with the Red Ship Raiders, and all sorts of other things that have been hinted at before now. We also get more answers about the skill and the wit to magic, which are two things that we've obviously been very interested in up until this point. And it was just an exceptional roller coaster ride of a book. I adored it. I'm trying to keep it a cohesive review, but honestly, all I want to do is just scream at you guys to go and read it, because it's such a good book, and a book has never affected me the way that this one did. And just thinking back over all of the stuff that happened, like, it's a chunky book, I'll give you that. It's, I think 800-ish pages, yeah. It's about 800 pages, and obviously this is a large size paperback, so if it was mass market it would be even more. But every page is necessary in this one, and whilst I felt like the Farseer book, the third one, really was too long, it was too drawn out, the characters were not exciting, this book I didn't have that problem at all. I felt like every page and every sentence was necessary or exciting or added something to the story, and I did not at any point feel bored during reading this one. I felt exhilarated, I felt like I was on the journey with them, I was going through all this stuff. It's very Arctic setting on most of this book, and I found that fascinating. We also get to see more of the Narcheska and the Narcheska's family, which is kind of the out-islander tribes, and that is all really cool, because it's a completely different custom and completely different rituals and things that they have to the normal Buckkeep people like Fitz, so I really enjoyed seeing that. And there's a lot of things that are hinted at during this story that Robin Hobb does very well. She slips them carefully into the story. I think I said before, but she talks about people who are half-wits, she talks about people who are bastards, she talks about the stereotypes of women and gender roles, and she reverses that in some ways, and she's just an exceptional writer who manages to slip these big topics into her work without you noticing it massively, but when you think back, you think, oh, actually, there's a lot of stuff that she's done that's really clever, really interesting, and definitely gives you a new point of view on some things, or helps you to expand your point of view on other things. And I just think she's an exceptional writer. And this book is definitely the pinnacle of her work for me, at least at the moment, because I've still got quite a few of her books to read. Hopefully they'll get even better, but I honestly don't know if it can get better, because I fell in love with this. It was absolutely perfect, and I just could not have imagined a better way for it all to come to an end, or for it all to conclude, or for the characters to resolve things, or sort things out, or people dying and things. Like, a lot of things happen, just a lot of things happen. I couldn't have imagined her doing it any better way than she did. I think it was absolute perfection. There are some things that I think we maybe could go back to in this world, like this world is not explored yet. And we've got the Rainwild books next, which is a 4-book series. So I'm very excited to read that, because I have no doubt that that will involve some fantastical creatures that I'm very excited about. And we get hints of that in this book, so I'm certain that that will be an awesome 4-book series. And then after that we have the Fitz and the Fool trilogy. I believe it's a trilogy, which the first 2 books are out in, and I do not know how long it is between these books and that series. I hope there's a fair amount of time to give our characters room to breathe after the ending of this, because it was so dramatic and so crazy and so much happened. But I've no idea when it's set, so I'm very excited to discover that and get to those books after I've read the Rainwild ones and return to Fitz, because Fitz is just, you know, he's kind of like the child of Robin Hobb, really. He just she knows him so well and she can write his story so well, and it is devastating at points and it is heart-wrenching at points, and yet it is also miraculously beautiful, and there are moments of hope and desperation that just have your heart melting, and it is so well put. Every line in this book has some sort of beautiful writing behind it, and there are moments where you see things and you're like, oh, that's such a wonderful way of writing that, or it's so thought-provoking, or it's so interesting that she decided to do that and to say that. And she just knows so well how to hone her craft, and she definitely is one of those writers who just gets better and better and better with every book, and I absolutely adored this. So I would 100% highly recommend that you guys check out the Fitz books, starting with Farseer and then moving on to Tawny Man. I would also say that Live Ships is not worth missing out. You should definitely read the Live Ship books too. You can start with the Live Ship books if you're not interested in Fitz's story, but I would say that it's worth reading the Farseer books, even the third one, which is slow, just to get to this one, because it is so good. It is so good. It is fantastic. I obviously gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I think you guys knew that. But I would give it a 10 out of 5 or something ridiculously high if I could, because it's my favourite book. I think it's my favourite book of all time. Not just this year, but it's definitely my favourite book of this year. And it's just so perfect in every way, and I think she's done an excellent job of interweaving this magical world and magical creatures and magical beasts and magical mythology and lore with this one character and these sort of surrounding side characters, and just making it work, and she does that incredibly well. So I would highly recommend that you guys check this out. This story is epic in every sense of the word. We get to see big, epic, long, sprawling journeys. We get to see bands of people travelling around. We get to see ships. Yep, there are ships in this one, and sailing, which I always enjoy, and I thought she did that very well. Robin Hobb just has this ability to lay down the words in the book, and as you read them, you draw into this world, and you get drawn in, and you can see all these crude betrayals and all of this horrible, sad, devastating stuff going on before your eyes as though you're there. You live the moment with these characters. You know them so well that they could be your best friend. And when you see these horrible, terrible, tragic things happening, because there is a lot of tragic stuff that happens, and there are some scenes which are violent or, you know, sexual and things like that, some of them combined. So, you know, there are moments that are really intense or really dark or really creepy, but Hobb does it in a way that just makes you connect to that character so much that you feel everything for them, and you just want them to be okay, and you want them to get through these things and be a stronger person because of it, and she just does an excellent job at it. On the whole, I would say that this is just utter perfection in a book, because that's what it is to me. I do not imagine any way that she could have made this better, and I would highly recommend it. If you guys have not read any of the Fitz and the Fool books, or Robin Hobb generally, why not? Because they're amazing. Definitely start with Farseer. If you've not read any Robin Hobb and you just want to try her out, start with Live Ships. And if you have read all of Robin Hobb up to this point, or more than this point, let me know your thoughts on the Tawny Man books, and especially on the ending of the Tawny Man books, and how it affected you, and whether you agree with me or disagree. It's an emotional rollercoaster, this book, guys. It is really an emotional rollercoaster, and I adored every second of it. And I cannot wait to read the Rainwell books, and then the Fitz and the Fool books, and then probably everything else that she's written under Robin Hobb and Megan Lindholm, because I just need Robin Hobb in my life. It's a need, not a want. It is a desire to have her. She's just fantastic in every way. So, highly recommended. Let me know your thoughts down below if you've read it, and I will see you all again soon in another video. Bye!
Me and you gonna have a little